And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Loots, and it's been an interesting last couple days in NBA 2K22, my team. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the concept of purchasing MT, not something I've done personally, you hear that, 2K people who are watching me right now, if that's the case. But essentially, a third-party website will sell you the grindable currency MT. Probably by telling you to put up a specific player for 100k or another uber specific amount of MT, and then they will purchase it after you pay them. That's essentially how it works, right? Look, I'll be honest, I don't know much about these MT sites. I don't know if they are trustworthy or not, which is why you don't see any advertisements for them on my channel. In addition to, I don't need to give 2K an excuse to ban me. Because if you have been paying attention to the last few days, they have banned a large amount of, for the most part, smaller creators in the YouTube community over this. Anybody who has advertised MT sites have been banned. And if you look this year, it's actually harder to a certain extent to grind MT this year. So you can see 2K doing some sort of mental gymnastics to try to stop this in some way. Which, realistically, they could stop this very easily if they were to want to do that, which is just by making one singular currency similar to MLB The Show. If they had that, it's one purchasable currency that can both be used on packs and in the marketplace. If they were to do that, they could kind of stop this whole MT site thing in its tracks, but they won't do that. So you notice you can't quick sell shoes. You have to actually create them first. They were glitched to only give you 10 MT when you sold a created shoe. Now you can sell them relatively easy for the normal amount, 300 for a gold shoe, etc. 275 for silver, 250 for bronze. Now here's the thing though, the gold shoe boosts are actually worth like a decent amount of MT if you were to sell them on the auctions. You can probably get a couple hundred for each shoe boost, sometimes more depending what the boost actually is. And you can only quick sell the shoe for 300, and I don't believe that it changes with the boosts. Like, I think if it's a gold shoe, it's going to sell for 300 regardless what the boosts are. Now, is it cheaper to part the shoe out, or is it cheaper, or sorry, not is it cheaper, is it better MT wise? Do you make more MT if you part the shoe out or if you quick sell it? Now, it's probably, you can probably make a few, I don't want to say 100 more, but a few more MT if you part the shoe out and you put everything up on the auction. So if you put all three parts of the shoe up, instead of getting 300, you might get like 400, 500 depending on the shoe. It just kind of depends. They don't quick sell for very much, so chances are you can get them up there. Like this one I just created with 3 bronze boosts and a gold shoe. I'll probably be able to quick sell for 300, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, so regardless, I can quick sell it for 300. It doesn't really matter exactly what's going on, so it's probably better MT wise to actually part everything out and put it on the auctions, especially if you don't plan on making the shoes, which like I definitely don't. But this is just another way 2K has kind of made it harder to grind MT or the My Team currency. And look, the MT sites aren't going to get taken down, but they will start to pepper. I'm guessing we're going to get another ban hammer wave at some point. So if you purchase MT or if you're somebody who sells MT, chances are they're going to find you and they're going to ban hammer it. Like, how the YouTubers were getting found and banned is actually crazy. By the way, they're doing console bans. So it's not just account bans. They're essentially flagging your console and they're banning every new account that you try to make. And clearly it's not doing anything to the market. I mean, these diamond cards are more expensive than they were a couple days ago. The fact that the game has been out for 2 or 3 days and people already have 150k to spend on Darren Williams and Shaq should tell you all you really need to know. Like, there's still MT to be made in some fashion. How people are doing it, I'm not entirely sure at this point. And they've also raised the prices on packs too. So it's not like they're making it more user-friendly to a certain extent. Like 21,000 for one single Colossal pack, like with a negative 2% chance to pull a diamond. You know what I mean? And only like a 7% chance to pull an amethyst. Like 93% of the time you're getting Michael Porter Jr. You know what I mean? And that's kind of crazy. Like the fact that they raised them up, I don't understand them raising the packs up in price. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And like, you can make a little bit of MT by doing token market. You know, you can grab like a shoe base and then like a shoe boost. It'll cost you like 6 tokens. and you can probably make 500 MT off of it. So it's not very profitable. So I'm not sure how people are getting all the MT that they have outside of playing the game with fully graded lineups. That would be my only guess, but there's still a domination cap for how much MT you can make, I think. So I don't even really think those are helping all that much. Now, I missed Dennis Smith Jr. Oh, bummer, I didn't get him. Oh well, who cares? There's still MT to be made in badges, but I think badges are so easy to get right now and they don't really go to cards. Meaning that there's not a whole lot of cards that can even take half the badges, that I don't necessarily think it's worth it. The pickup challenges, by the way, you should be doing those every single week if you can, because you'll always get some sort of prize for doing it. So definitely something I recommend doing. Obviously doing these challenges and getting these free packs are key too. Chances are you're probably going to get like a gold Todd McCullough or like a gold, I don't know, James Posey or something, but it's still a free pack. It's some free MT and stuff like that. But is this going to have a massive effect on the market? Because that's the hope, and a lot of people have been talking about that. Is like, oh, okay, well, if they get rid of the MT selling sites, that's a W for 2K because all the cards are going to come down in price. I'll be honest, I don't think that's the case. Like, I don't think that's the case at all. Like, I really don't think that's going to help very much. Honestly, I don't. Like, yeah, maybe we can see like a 50K reduction in some of the higher tier cards, maybe like a 100K reduction once we get to like cards that are 700-800K MT. But I really don't think that's going to be as massive of a change as people think. I think what it's really going to do is make the budget cards kind of go up in MT. And why I say this is because most people overlook budget cards because especially people who buy MT, they'll overlook budget cards. Like, who cares? Like, I can spend $14 and I can afford Shaq. Like, why am I going to use my paltry amount of MT that I have to go buy Michael Porter Jr.? You know, something like that. And once you take that ability away from those people, like, they're just going to go buy what they can afford, which is going to be guys like Michael Porter and stuff, and potentially makes them go up in value. Another issue that we're going to have with this is cards are going to get a little more scarce on the market because people use and buy MT to open packs. It's significantly cheaper than if you were to open them with VC. And that's part of the problem. I feel like 2K could just lower the amount VC costs, and then maybe they would like not have these headaches. In addition to obviously the one central currency would be very helpful as well. But if they were to just lower the cost of VC, instead of 200K for $50, it was, I don't know, $30 for 200K. I feel like even that would be much more helpful. Or they could lower the amount of VC it costs to actually open packs itself. If they were to do either of these things, more people would buy VC, less people would buy MT because it's through a sketchy third-party site that you don't really know what's going on. Not to say all of them are sketchy. I've heard that some of them are reputable. Couldn't tell you which ones those are. Look, the MT sites are always in my DMs on Twitter offering me like a pretty ridiculous amount of money for a 60 or 30-second advertisement at the beginning of my videos. And to be completely honest, that kind of sketches me out just because that's like a lot. And now that I've seen this wave of console bans come to fruition, I definitely don't want any part of that personally. Like, that's just me. And look, you guys can do whatever you want when it comes to this game. I'm not going to try to dissuade you from doing one or the other, right? I'm not going to try to tell you, no, absolutely don't buy MT. If that's your prerogative, do what you got to do. I'm not going to dissuade you from being against it either. You know, if you're against it, you're against it. I'm cool with it. It is what it is. But 2K has really taken a hardline stance on the MT purchasing issue this year. And part of my thought is, how did all these smaller YouTubers get popped so quickly? Couple theories there. I mean, realistically, we have someone deep in the community that's probably feeding 2K this information. Or B, they've kept a watchful eye on the situation all the way since 2K21, and they're just waiting to implement these bans right at the beginning of the year on these guys. It's tough to say. I mean, I know a couple of guys who've already gotten console bans, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. And they're watching the channels themselves, so if they made a new account, you know, they're just going to come through and ban that account. Probably hit them with another console ban if they buy another console. And that's a scary situation when you're pretty much like forced to play a different game because you literally don't have a choice, you know, or you have to hide your gamer tag in every single video, which is going to be ridiculous. Also, 2K made that harder because your gamer tag and account flashes in the back of pack openings now. So you can't even do pack openings and hide that part anymore because it'll flash in the back and 2K will be able to see it. So it's a really interesting situation either way. Now, I do think there is MT to be made. There's still ways to make MT. You've seen me scroll through the badge, screens for a little bit here. As you can see, the market, it's wild. Like, badges are really cheap right now, and I think that's because there's not a lot of players to put them on. Like, a lot of the players can't even accept these badges. You also notice how the scrolling in the auction house is moving at like a snail's pace. Yeah, 2K, that's a deliberate move by 2K as well to stop sniping in some fashion. Like, which is kind of crazy. They're kind of taking away a bunch of different ways to make MT. Hopefully they, recoup them with like legitimate ways to make MT. Not like sniping's not legitimate or anything, but I just mean like grinding reasons, like easier to make MT, but harder to get it illicitly. If that's what they were going to do, that's one thing, but it doesn't seem that they're doing that way. But I'm going to stock up on a few of these badges like Limitless and Chef, stuff that I think will be important later on down the line, especially if they implement the correct patches, which I hope on everything they don't implement. But it's 2K, they probably will at some point. Park people will get upset because you can't like blow by people as easy. Saw 21 Savage tweeting about it. Really interesting. Once a celebrity tweets about it, you can pretty much guarantee it's over. But I'm going to stock up on some of these badges, hope they go up in price. If not, I'll lose a couple thousand MT. It's not really the biggest deal in the world. As always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think.